What's up, guys? It's Gaz, and welcome to the Warframe video. So I'd just like to thank everyone that's been coming by the Twitch stream lately at twitch.tv/Gaz_TTV. Been doing really good lately, been pretty much top of the Warframe directory for Twitch streamers every single, the last couple streams, and we've been having a lot of fun in chat. So I really appreciate all the support on YouTube and on Twitch, guys. The channel has been doing great. I honestly am extremely happy, and I really appreciate all the support. So basically what we're doing today, I'm going to give you guys a quick Arcane buying guide for the Scarlet Spear. At this point, they've buffed the credit gains from the Scarlet Spear quite heavily. We're basically getting double the amount per mission that we were before. So I'm going to let you guys know what some of the best choices for Arcanes are, and what some more niche situation Arcanes for specific frames and weapons can be. So... and the reason I'm making this video is because people have been asking me this question relatively frequently. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you guys the top 5 I'd say that you want to get for sure. The other ones after that will be, like I said, niche situations. So let's get started. Number 1 most important Arcane to get, in my opinion, is Arcane Energize. And you are going to want to get this to rank 5. Keep in mind, you get these are rank 0. It says rank 5. It looks like it says rank 5 in this UI right here, but every single 4,000 credits is going to give you a rank 0 for the Arcane Energize. But once you get maximum rank, it's going to give you a 60% chance to get an increased energy amount from an energy orb. That becomes about 150 energy, I believe it is, with the rank 5. And that's going to work for your allies as well. So you pick up an energy orb, 60% chance to give you and your allies around over 100 energy per orb. So... really good stuff there. They did add a cooldown to it, so it's honestly not as necessary on some builds now. If you have a maxed out Xeneric and maybe you're even running Energy Siphon, you can get away with not running Energize. But even then, you can potentially still run Energize. It's really good on channeled abilities, because while you're in a channeled ability, it will actually still restore energy to your energy pool. So extremely valuable here. I'd say this is the number 1 that you want to get. Number 2 is definitely going to be more up to personal preference. It's going to be either Avenger or Grace. And I'm going to probably go with Grace here, because what Grace does is, well, first off, it gives you a ton of health regen. 9% chance for 6% health regen per second for 9 seconds. On a lot of frames, 6% is going to be about 50-ish. So this is going to give you a 50-ish heal per second for 9 seconds. And if you're playing a Naros specifically, this is a god tier Arcane, and I would highly recommend it. Unfortunately, it's a bit expensive, because it's not as important as Energize at all. That's why I'm saying Avenger, or maybe even some other ones, would be more important than this. But if you are an Naros player, if you're a Grendel player, even if you're a Saren player, I realize on Saren too, you are going to want to get this one. And it used to be extremely expensive plat-wise for a reason. So get that one, but like I said, make sure you get Energized first. And then as far as other ones after that, Avenger, going to give you a flat critical damage, or critical chance increase right here. So with the rank 5, 21% chance when you're shot to give you 45% increased critical chance for 12 seconds. And like I said, when it's additive, so just say, for example, you had 50% crit chance at base. When you had this procced, it would give you 45 additional. You'd be at 95% crit chance for 12 seconds. So really powerful one right there. I'd say this is probably number 2 for me. My usual builds nowadays are Arcane Energize and Arcane Avenger on my frames. I'll sometimes run Grace and Guardian. Another really important one is Guardian, which is a silver tier Arcane. So that actually is a little bit cheaper compared to... there it is right there. It's a little bit cheaper compared to the gold ones. It's only going to be 1,500 per. So in one Murex raid, you can get 3 of these per. And at max rank, going to give you a 15% chance when you're shot or damaged to get 900 flat armor for 20 seconds. So really powerful there. Highly recommend that one. Maybe even potentially more important than Grace. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys think that Grace is, or if Guardian's more important than Grace nowadays. It's honestly kind of up in the air. I would probably say that it's up to personal preference and what you like to play. But on squishier caster frames, Guardian is more valuable than Grace a lot of the time. So now that we've gotten those 4 out of the way, Avenger, Energize, Grace, and Guardian, we can start getting into the more niche stuff. So here, let's go over every Arcane really quickly, one by one. So Arcane Tempo, pretty good on the Comb and some other shotguns. Like I was using on the Kuva Dragoon last night. On critical hit, going to give you a 50% chance for a 90% fire rate for 12 seconds. That is a lot of fire rate, so you might want to pick this one up if you want to like maybe not run a fire rate mod, if you're thinking about running a fire rate mod in your shotgun. Definitely not necessary at all. Like, this is one of the less important arcanes, I'd say, but it can definitely get some good value out of it with a DPS increase. The next one, Arcane Consequence. Really easy to proc this one on headshot, 100% chance for 60% parkour velocity for 18 seconds. So you get a headshot on an enemy, you're jumping really fast for 18 seconds. And it's a 100% chance, so it's always going to be up if you just get some headshots here and there. So really valuable one there. I would recommend this one pretty highly. But then again, if you're getting some of these top tier arcanes like Energize and Avenger, you're probably not going to be running Consequence unless, you know, you want to just go fast. You're not going fast enough. Do keep in mind, this does not work on Operator, though, so yeah. Arcane Momentum. Now, this one is going to give you reload speed for sniper rifles when you 60% chance on a critical hit. Now, this one is really good on the Rubico Prime for Eidolon fights. It's also really good on the Vectis Prime with a Prime Chamber depleted reload build. So I would highly recommend this one as well. This is a really good one if you like sniper rifles. Definitely going to patch up some reload weaknesses that some snipers have. Specifically, the Rubico Prime has a bit of a reload issue. So if you want to keep your sniper counter up, you definitely are going to want to rock this thing. Moving on, Arcane Ice. I'd say, I've actually noticed, so these ones that say resist heat damage effect, that actually means you're resisting the heat status effect. Or if it's a toxin one, you're resisting a toxin status effect, not the actual damage itself. So keep that one in mind. But that being said, heat procs have been buffed. They now will melt away 50% of your armor, so they are a lot more deadly nowadays than they used to be. But even with that being said, I don't think this is really worth it at all. I've never actually equipped this one, and I would not recommend that you equip it either. It is not really worth the time, I'd say. But, you know, if you got every other arcane and you want to get this one, go for it. Now, Arcane Nullifier, on the other hand, another very useful arcane for Eidolon fights, because when you break the Eidolon's Synovia limb, it releases a Scream attack all around it, and it does magnetic status effects and magnetic damage. Now, this will prevent the magnetic status effect, which is draining your shield and draining your energy. So, getting a rank 5 for this, very, very valuable for Eidolon fights. You still are going to want to have like a Harrow or something preventing the damage, because it's not, like I said, it prevents the status effect, not the status or the magnetic damage. So, still very valuable there, and a lot of Eidolon hunters do run this one, and I would highly recommend it as well. Moving on to Arcane Warmth, same thing as the last two. It's going to prevent ice damage effects. Really, really not important at all. This is one of the arcanes I would basically never recommend anyone, because the one time I can think about this being useful is the Glaxian capture target, but he usually just insta-kills you anyway, and it's not going to prevent the actual cold damage. So don't bother with this one. Moving on to Arcane Resistance. Now, if this one prevented toxin damage and not toxin status effects, this would be very valuable in Hildren. Unfortunately, it does not prevent toxin damage, it just prevents the status effect. So, not extremely valuable there, but, you know, toxin procs can be a bit annoying, so maybe potentially consider this one. I'm going to say pass on this one from me. Moving on, Arcane Healing, going to prevent radiation status effects. Relatively decent for a radiation sortie. Maybe if you're fighting, if you know you have a radiation lich you're fighting that's going to radiation proc you, potentially somewhat useful if you don't kill your teammates. But this does not work on your teammates at the same time. So if your teammate gets radiation proc, they're going to still kill you. So honestly, you could probably skip this one too as well. Arcane Deflection. Now, this one actually used to be kind of decent on Hildren, because Hildren has a ton of shields and not as much health. But since they changed slash procs to not be bypassing shields anymore, Hildren doesn't really need this at all. I'd say pass on the slash proc preventing Arcane Deflection. Now, Victory, on the other hand, this is going to give you healing per second, health regeneration for 9 seconds on a headshot kill. Pretty hilarious with Inaros. You can just charge into a Nullifier bubble and just laugh at the Nullifier. So, because this, like, Nullifier bubble does not, by the way, Nullifier bubbles do not deactivate the arcane effects. Those Nullifiers only work on operator abilities, or not operator abilities, only works on Warframe abilities and some operator functionality. So, pretty good one here. It does stack with Arcane Grace as well, so you could be getting 12% health regeneration per second for 9 seconds. Relatively valuable, but not extremely essential, I'd say. Now, Arcane Striking, on the other hand, this is just like a good bread and butter arcane right here. It's going to give you increased attack speed when you hit something. And that hit can count, like, if you're playing Saren, your toxin spores are hitting everything across the map, that can proc this Arcane and give you increased attack speed by 60% for 18 seconds. Really good for increasing your DPS. If you have a relatively slow attack speed weapon, gonna bump it up a little bit. And I do consider this one pretty valuable. I'd say worth picking up if you don't have it already. Arcane Awakening, on reload, 60% chance for 150% additional base damage for 24 seconds. There's a lot of pistols that are reloading constantly, but even then, I'd say this is not really worth it. 60% chance is a pretty high proc chance, but I used to like this one a lot, and I've kind of like just stopped using it entirely. So I would not recommend Arcane Awakening. We already went over Arcane Guardian, one of the top tier arcanes. Definitely make sure you pick this one up if you don't have it. Arcane Phantasm, pretty much don't even want to read this one. On block, 45% chance for 60% speed for 18 seconds. No. I've never seen anyone use this, and I would not recommend it. Arcane Eruption, 100% chance to knock down enemies on an energy orb. I actually speculated on this one before the event came out. I'm like, oh, they're buffing this to make it a 100% chance. Let's try it out. Turns out knocking enemies over when you pick up an energy orb is not very good when you can actually be running things like Avenger or Energize in that slot instead. So, would not recommend Arcane Eruption at all. We're about halfway done here. Arcane Agility, on damage, 6% chance for Arcane Velocity. Just run Momentum instead, I'd say. But you could potentially run this for like speedrunning capture missions or something. Arcane Acceleration, going to give you increased fire rate on critical hit. Definitely very valuable on DPS increases on some like weapons. I use this like on the Arcana personally. Super Vandal if you want to see even more bullets flying out. Pretty fun, although not necessary at all. This is like a save it for when you don't have anything else to buy kind of arcane. Arcane Trickery, very valuable on Ashe. On finish or kill, 15% chance to become invisible for 30 seconds. Now Ashe can already go invisible, but his invisibility is relatively short, and he can also get finishers pretty much on demand. His Blade Storm counts as a finisher. Also his third ability, the Teleport Blink, I think it's called, or something like that, it's going to give you a finisher. And I mean, it is a 15% chance, which is very low, but 30 seconds of duration is pretty good. So, I mean, additionally, you could use this on like a Naros, I guess, but a Naros does not need to be invisible at all. So, yeah. Honestly, like you can pass on this one. There's also some other niche situations you could run this, but I would not recommend it. Now, if you are a Mesa player, if you enjoy Mesa, definitely pick up Arcane Velocity. If you are a Mesa main, guys, and you don't have this already, I'd say this is more important than Grace. More important than Avenger, maybe even more important than Guardian. Get Arcane Velocity. And the reason for that is it's going to give you, on critical hit, 90% chance for 120% fire rate for pistols for 9 seconds. This works on Mesa's pistols. It also works on Titania's pistols, but Titania's pistols have an ammo amount. So I'd say this is much more important for Mesa players. It increases your DPS like a ton. Really, 100% get this on Mesa, guys. You need it if you are a Mesa player. Arcane Precision, we were talking about Titania. This is pretty good on Titania. On pistol headshot, going to give you 100% chance for 300% base damage for 18 seconds. Really good on Titania. Good on some pistols as well. Like you can use it on like the new core, things like that. Pretty valuable, but definitely best on Titania. Arcane Pulse, complete garbage arcane. Some people like it on Neja. On health, orb pickup, 60% chance to heal. It's like Energize, but for health. It's really not important. We have things like repair nowadays. Like there's healer frames like Wisp and Trin. This is one of the bottom tier arcanes in my opinion, and you're gonna have to really type out a long paragraph to convince me this one's good. So don't pick up Arcane Pulse. I say that's like really last priority for you. Arcane Ultimatum. Now this one is going to give you a 100% chance for 1200 armor for 45 seconds on a finisher. So for getting maximum armor values on Iron Skin with Rhino, you can possibly run this with Arcane Tanker and get yourself like, I think it's like 2400 extra armor. Pretty funny there. Additionally, you could do some really niche gimmicky builds with like an Ashe setup or whoever. Like whoever's going to get finishers like Inaros going to give you a ton of extra armor, pretty much on demand. So maybe run this one. I don't actually have this one fully ranked up. This is like a last resort for me because I don't really like that playstyle, but it is relatively powerful for how easy it is to proc. So maybe consider Arcane Ultimatum. Getting near the end of the list here, Arcane Aegis. Now this one used to be a lot different, but they actually changed it. It's got 3% chance on shield damage for 30% shield recharge rate for 12 seconds. Now that is a little bit deceiving when you look at the actual description there. It seems like it would be very weak, but this actually is very powerful if you get that 3% chance to proc. If you're running Arcane Aegis and Arcane Barrier on Hildren, I basically feel immortal with these two arcanes equipped. Barrier and Aegis, they're both shield-based arcanes. Hildren has like 4,000 plus shields with my build, and my shield basically never goes down on Hildren. So if you are a Hildren player and you enjoy Hildren, definitely pick up Aegis 100% and then pick up Barrier 100% as well. Barrier is going to give you a full shield restore on a 6% chance. And Aegis is shield regen per second for 12 seconds. Arcane Arachna, kind of just like a joke arcane here. Going to give you on wall latch, so you completely have to stop moving and remember to do this goofy mechanic to get 150% base damage for 30 seconds. It used to be really fun. You could like infinitely stack this up, because before they changed it, you could like wall latch like 50 times in a row, and it would stack the damage up and up and up, and you could one-shot the Eidolon and Naros with no Void Strike. But now it's just a flat amount, so, you know, I really wouldn't recommend it, but I'm sure some fun could be had there just joking around with some buddies. I don't know how funny that would actually be, but, you know, you can make your own fun a lot of the time with friends. That's what a lot of games depend on. All right, Arcane Rage, another one I don't really have fully leveled up because I don't find it very impactful or important. On headshot, so not headshot kill, just headshot. 50% chance for 180% base damage through primary weapons for 24 seconds. So the fact that it's not a headshot kill makes it a little bit more exciting than it probably should be normally. But I really don't think this is worth a slot in most cases. And 15% chance is pretty low. So I'd say maybe pass on this one unless you really like the Tiburon Prime or something like that. I might end up ranking this up and trying it out a little bit more, but this is one I have not really tested that much, and I really wouldn't recommend it. I'd say Avenger is more important a lot of the time. Moving on to the last Arcane that we have not talked about yet, we have Arcane Fury. Now this one I actually do run on Korra, because this works on Korra's first ability, her Whip Claw. On critical hit, 60% chance for 180% melee base damage increase for melee weapons for 18 seconds. Pretty valuable on Korra. This is going to help you one-shot some stuff. And you're going to basically always have this buff going on Korra, since you're always critting with her Whip Claw. At least on my build. So yeah, I definitely would recommend this one if you're a Korra player. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Just to reiterate, the best Arcanes to get: Avenger, Energize, Grace, Guardian, and if you are a Mesa player, definitely Velocity. And I went over all of them, so you know. Didn't really go over Barrier super in-depth. Like I said, this is pretty much just a Hildren Arcane. You can get some value out of it on like Gara and like some other frames, but mostly a Hildren Arcane. That's basically it. Like I said, getting about 4,000 points per mission now, so like a 15-20 minute mission, you get a guaranteed Energize out of it. That's relatively a good rate, if you ask me. You might want to stock up on these Arcanes, get your R5s before the event disappears at the end of April, which is about like 3 weeks away, so that's it for the video, guys. We got lots of more videos coming out this week. Gonna have a Prime Chamber video coming out next couple days here. Should be really fun. And some other stuff too. So definitely keep an eye on the channel. Keep an eye on the Twitch channel. There is no real stream schedule, so you are definitely gonna want to follow the channel to see when we go live. And yeah, if you missed the Riven nerf stream, I think we're gonna make a tradition out of it, where every Riven dispo change, we're gonna have a crazy stream like the last one. And we might actually get people from chat into Discord, so they can be on the stream as well for the next Riven nerf stream. So I'll see you guys then. Please subscribe to the channel, like it if you liked it, and yeah, enjoy your Arcanes, guys. They'll never be this easy to get ever again. Peace out.